Ladies and geriatrics, well, he's an old lad, 23 years old in December, I believe. So let's have a look and a listen, and then I shall tell you what I can about it. Let's go. So surely it is, excuse me, it is indeed pick-up time, and we will start as we do with the bridge pick-up. Into the centre. What's the neck? does. Let's have a look. And of course, when I say let's have a look, I mean let's have a look at how it cleans up. And again, starting with the bridge. And so that's on the unknown pickup that's popping out a million onto the centre position. And the neck. Now let's have a proper look round it. So yeah, Epiphone Korina 58 reissue Flying V. New ones are absolutely frighteningly expensive. They're about 12 or 1300 quid or something insane like that. Yeah, you know, I mean, they're perfectly good, but when I consider what else I can buy for 1300 quid, Epiphone doesn't spring immediately to mind, but they are very, very good indeed. Unless I've read the wrong thing. I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong. So let's have a look from stem to stern. So quite surprising, this one really. As I say, 23 years old. This Epiphone logo here is clearly a sticker, and it usefully tells us that Gibson is the parent company. It's got your traditional spade head, and if we have a look around the back, well, it's got a little tail to tell around here. As you'll see from the serial number, it has a U prefix, which means that it came from the Unsung factory in Korea, and the 00, which are the first two numbers, tell us that it was made in the year 2000. I think the next two numbers are 12, which means December, and then the rest of it just tells you what number it was in the series. But have a look at the tuning machines, and more particularly, have a look at the holes that we can see either side of them. Because here's a weird thing. So it looks for all the world as though it's originally had either Cluson's or Epiphone Deluxe, you know the type, removed, and then Grover 18:1's put on in place of that. But I'm pretty sure that these all came equipped originally with Grovers. Hey ho, let's carry on around the back. So what you will see on the certainly maple neck is you'll see here the scarf joints. Scarf joints, if you like those, they're nice and strong and should give you years of trouble-free playing. And so around the front of the neck, of course, we do have a rosewood fretboard, and yeah, I'm pretty sure they're acrylic inlays. There's nothing shimmery happening there, which is what we'd expect. 22 frets. And I do want to talk to you about the frets on this. They certainly had the wibbly wobblies. They were very, very much like a roller coaster, and I have spent quite a bit of time doing the fret dress and crown and polishing and all that kind of caper. So yeah, I will sum up hopefully at the end if I remember. But certainly, if you're looking for one, really, that is something to check for. The fret ends lovely and smooth. Well, certainly now, and I think this one's got 10s on it. I can't remember but anyway, they feel heavier than I'm used to. So anyway, yes, that's the neck. Now, the other thing that you are going to want to look for if you are considering one of these, yeah, there's a bit of Well, it's owned, isn't it? You know, it's owned. But that's not necessarily an excuse for being knackered. Personally, I wouldn't want to see this on an instrument I was buying, but only because usually I get fed up after 10 minutes and move them on. So that is certainly, if you see that kind of activity, although it, you know, we're perfectly sound, perfectly secure, it's really just an aesthetic thing, but always something to bear in mind, especially if when you get, because you don't know until you played it for a bit whether it's for you or not. And so if it turns out that it's not for you, then that kind of thing can sometimes hamper your ability to move it on and try something new. So yes, well, let's have a look down the front. What's going on here? So that scratch plate, for some reason not known to me, has been snapped in half here. So I cleaned up the edges, and you know, it is what it is. Yeah, 3 knobs, so you've got 2 volumes, 1 tone, and you'll note that the knobs usefully have skull and crossbones on them, so I'm not sure whether it was a pirate's guitar or not at some point, but anyway, string through body, string through the Korina body, which I have to say is rather beautiful. And there are a few little dings and what have you on it, but you know, for 23 years old, for a 23-year-old guitar, probably a 23-year-old anything really, what can you expect but see a few dings. Exhaust pipe down here at the bottom of the lower horn. I do like these, and of course your toggle switch, and it is the place to have it obviously on one of these, and it's not hittable, it's in a sensible, accessible but not bashable area. Pickups, well, again, you will see some photos back here. The neck pickup is all genuine Epiphone, which is what would have come with it, and it's popping out, you know, about 8.5, as they tend to. And this, where is it? There it is. This, I have no idea what it is. There's no signature on it or anything like that, but it is popping out an absolutely whopping 16 plus. And I've got to tell you, I like the sound. Whatever it is, I wish that I knew. I'll ask the owner of this what it is, because I'd quite like one. It's a very, very nice pickup with plenty of power. So yeah, so we've got a string through body, as you can see. Apparently it's helpful for sustain. My jury's totally out on that. I love the grain and the finish in this, and I like. That's what I was saying. I like V guitars. I like V guitars, and the reason I like V guitars is because you got access right the way up to fret 22. You can get to everything. So those upper frets are so easily accessible, which is a lovely, lovely thing. The truss rod, I can tell you, works perfectly. But so in summary, what I would say is if you're buying off an auction site, through the photos carefully, and certainly look for anything, you know, like this kind of action that's going on here. As I say, it doesn't make any difference to the playability or the sound, but it's not pretty. That's all I can really say about it. There's no concerns or issues. It's just, you know, well, but certainly with one of the and I did a review of an Epiphone Flying V. It was a black one a few years ago, and it had not been touched, and it was absolutely perfect in every way. And this has not been touched, and it was absolutely not perfect in any way at all, playing wise. So really, if you can see them before you buy them and actually have a little play on it, then that is the ideal thing to do. If not, hopefully there'll be a YouTube video, because they are becoming more popular now, and so at least you can see whether, you know, it bends right. So what was happening was when we were bending anywhere above the 12th fret, it was grounding out. And that was even after the first fret dress and crown, because there were so many fret issues with it. But generally speaking, they're not known for that. I think that's just a little bit of bad luck. But there you go. Hey ho, yes, great. Overall, great guitars, brilliant. And if you do fancy looking a bit, you know, special when you're out there standing in front of people, well, you can't really beat one of these that look like a spaceman, can you? Right, and folks, thank you all as much for tuning in. I shall see you soon. Adios amigos. Ta-ra.